Welcome to Glass Bros, Asia's Glass and Growth Podcast. From Taiwan to the world, welcome to Glass Bros, where innovation meets tradition and bold ideas shape the future of manufacturing. I'm your host, Richard Winston, diving into the minds behind Asia's most resilient industries, game-changing leaders, and the stories you won't hear anywhere else.
大家好，我们是玻璃兄弟。所以有听众跟我们讲说，我们是 better to 试试看用英文的版本。Okay. 所以我们今天这集 podcast, we just gonna go for the English version.
Okay.
So why not? So welcome to Glass Bro. Okay.
Welcome to Glass Bro. Okay. Start speaking English.
Okay. Starts really weird, but this is how we're gonna do it. So
just give it a try, right?
Just give it a try, right?
Okay.
So maybe we'll get some international exposure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Everything's the first, right?
Everything's the first. Okay. So today I really want to talk about a key word that in the management and also for leadership development is called strategy. And why is strategy so important? Well, first of all, we've been learning about strategy, in our college, universities, or even MBAs, EMBA, whatever. But I kind of feel like, it's nobody really understands the keyword strategy. Winston, tell me what do you think about what is strategy? Give me an example. What do you think is strategy? What is good strategy? What is bad strategy? What do we mean by strategy?
That's not overextended. Let's start with the concept, like what defines strategy. So, being into NTU MBA, EMBA, we have learned that strategy, in summary, is something you choose to do. It's not like a to-do list. It's something that you want to do, you choose to do, and you choose not to do, right? So basically, you decide a series of things, of options. You keep what you think is important, and then you exercise those strategy. And to go further, I think strategy breaks down into three parts. First is where. The question of where you want to be, which industry you want to be, where, maybe is it geographic location, and what type of industry you want to be in. So that's the first question you do answer yourself, where. Because I remember when we were in the class at the beginning, especially for strategy course, and we talk about to be or not to be. You choose where to be. So location, geographical location, what industry, it's the question of where. That's the first thing. And then it's what you want to do, right? So whenever you want to exercise strategy, you need to consider what scope, and that including the idea of exercising your business, or the things you want to capture the market value that people have not seen. That is the what.
Okay, then, then what's next? Okay,
and then it's how. Like, what's your capability? How much amount of resource you have? What's your technology? And how are you gonna to combine your resource and your technology together to serve those previous purpose? So to serve the what, like the market, how are you gonna do it?
I think that's a good start. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good start. But out of all those great example you get from executive MBA, right? Mm-hmm. So my question to you, what is a good strategy? What is a bad strategy? So you still haven't answered my question, right?
So that's why I say
what is good? So you say strategy is a trade-off. It's a trade-off between where you want to go and what you want to do and how you want to do it versus something you don't want to do, right? Okay, I buy into the idea, but you still haven't told me what is good strategy and what is bad strategy.
Okay, then
so this is the key question. We see all the textbook, right? We go to MBA, EMBA, I don't know, whatever. We still cannot really say specifically what is good strategy and what is bad strategy. Okay, so let's say you are on a trip, right? You went to Japan, right? So is this a good strategy or bad strategy, right? Actually, it turns out
it depends on on the outcome, right?
Depends on the outcome. Okay,
Yeah.
depends on what
Yeah.
time you go, right? If you go during the Fukushima incident, I think it's a bad strategy. If you go during the cherry blossom, maybe it's a good strategy, right? But there's no consistency in when you're defining strategy as the way we just described, right? So in the business literature or in the business world or in, even in our society, we always look at the outcome. We look at the outcome, we decide if it's good or bad, right? If you get, for example, NVIDIA is successful, so we think Jensen Huang has a really good strategy, right? And we say, who else is successful? Yeah.
There's a lot of example.
TSMC was successful, right? So
Okay.
we think TSMC has a good strategy, right?
That's the
So everybody's looking at the outcome. But when Jensen Huang or NVIDIA, Morris Chang of TSMC, right? When they started, do they look at the company and tell, hey, this is where I'm gonna go, this is what I'm gonna do, so it's a good strategy? Can they define the strategy in that way?
I think it's very difficult
It's very difficult.
because this is an ever-changing world, and then the world changes just as rapidly as we think, and then it will change even further.
So from what you told me in the earlier description, this is not a good. It's not a good way to define strategy.
No, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's not good strategy. It's like the way we do things, right? For strategy, I define the strategy first. I didn't give it context of good or bad. I mean, to judge whether to see if a strategy is good or bad, it's not simply just look at the outcome. You got to have the context, right? So, given at that moment of time, I mean, the things you see, the trend you see, the market you see, and then also the available resource, and also the geographical, political issues. So, I don't think you can say a strategy and then you say it's good, because each time frame there's different context.
So this is the problem. Why this is the problem? Because you're teaching me bullshit, right? I mean, I'll just be honest with you. Like, all the MBA, the executive MBA are teaching me something that is not useful. Why do I say it's not useful? Because I cannot replicate whatever is successful at TSMC or at NVIDIA to my own industry. What is successful at Tesla cannot be replicated in my industry. So then what is the point of learning strategy?
So what you tell me, you have wasted almost 2 years in
You waste almost 2
EMBA
years.
for
You
nothing.
waste almost 3 years in
For
your
nothing.
education for nothing.
for nothing.
Exactly. You just go there and have parties and drink with people. So this is the problem about strategy, is we cannot define what is good strategy and what is bad strategy. So why don't we just look at things like this? If you want to learn about strategy, you need to be able to replicate, be able to do it in different kind of industries. Doesn't matter whether you are in packaging industry like Huaxia Glass, or you are in the mobility industry like Tesla, or even in chip manufacturing like TSMC. If the strategy cannot be replicated, then it's not a good strategy.
But you shouldn't replicate other people's strategy, because like I say, it's different
Of course,
context.
you
right?
cannot replicate with a
and
strategy.
you will never get the outcome you
But
want.
the structure of a strategy should be able to replicate it, be able to duplicate it, and be able to be consistent throughout different centuries, different times, and different industries. So this is the point of this episode. We are looking at one example. For example, one of the most successful company on the earth right now, Tesla. How did he come up with a successful strategy in the early years? And from that example, we'll be able to present a way to think about what is a good strategy and what is a bad strategy. Okay? So some of the key highlights we have about Tesla, right? When early days, they talk about Model X and Model S, right? So Model X and Model S was a super luxury EV, if people don't understand, about the Tesla industries, a super luxury EV, and that is at the price range about $20,000 to $30,000 US dollars during the time, and it was quite successful throughout the United States. Okay, so Winston, do you think when Elon Musk found Tesla, he knows he need to produce Tesla Model X and Model S in the first place? Does he know?
He probably, I would say, he has some idea,
Okay.
but a lot of great idea came from the process of working. You come up the idea during the time he was producing for Tesla electric car.
Okay.
So definitely not at the beginning, but he must have some idea, and as he works towards it, and then as time passed by, he come up with those ideas.
So that's a good assumption, right? So if you think about it in terms of, you put into two boxes, right? External factors and internal factors. Just like what do you say? Like, strategy is about choosing the resources to allocate resources to where you want to play and how you want to play. Mm-hmm. External factors. Right? So what is going on during the time, when Tesla was forming, right? External factors, right? So during the time, people have a lot of choice of, luxurious cars, like BMW, Mercedes, right? 5
Porsche.
Series, 4 Series, 7 Series, right? Porsche maybe.
Ferrari.
Oh, that's like more ultra luxury, so which is not in the luxury sectors, right?
Okay.
And what else is happening during the time? Like, people are still commuting with cars most often, right? Especially United States, right? You don't usually have a really extensive sort of like train or subway system, right? Correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what else is happening in the United States during the time? Think about external factors, right? What else? Silicon Valley is coming up,
Yes.
Yes, California is, Hollywood is filled with a bunch of rich people, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Tesla started at the era in where it's post-financial crisis, which is in 2008. In 2012, that's where Elon Musk started to think about, I want to produce something, unusual, right? What about internal factors? What is the background on the internal factors for Tesla? Yeah.
It's a new startup.
It's a new startup, right? So Elon was doing it out of his own pocket, right? He has some couple rich friends, I know, Larry Page or other people in Silicon Valley as well, right? So then what's internal factors on Elon? He wasn't successful during the time.
Resource pretty tight.
Resources pretty tight, and he did some failure before, right? Before his Tesla startup, okay? So you can look at internal and externally. It's like there is a really booming industries on mobility, which is on the cars, in California. And Elon was defeated on his previous ventures or whatever. I mean, he didn't get defeated. I mean, he was an investor in PayPal and he sold PayPal, right? So he got some money, right? He got some money and he's trying to figure out what to do with the money. Can I put it this way? Mm-hmm. So now we look at this, right? We look at this 2012 scenarios. Do you see that? Is there something that Elon can do with the mobility industries? I have some money from what I am selling the PayPal. I got some money, and a couple ventures I did wasn't successful. So what should I do next? I'm looking at this kind of car industries. So what was the car industry look like during the time? What do you think in 2012? Like I say, I have BMW, Mercedes, or whatever, right? Yeah.
And that's like the luxury part, not super luxury, but luxury.
But there's also the Camry, the Toyota, and Nissan, right? Nissan, right? So Honda, right?
That's and the Nissan, mass market part.
Okay, so Nissan just produced an electric car called Leaf, right? So it looks really cheap, so it's not as successful, right?
Cheap, successful, but there are some.
So e-mobile. I mean, electric vehicle. EV is starting to coming up.
Yeah, you see a little bit in the market, and then there are. I would define a very niche market, especially for those people who think has the early adoption of idea of ESG.
But most of the
ESG
cars are
yes.
still in the ICE stage, which is internal combustion engine, right?
Yes. And
So ICE is still I just use the word ICE, right? So ICE is still the majority of the cars. So, but you see a trend, right? You see that, California is getting richer and richer, right? Getting Hollywood, Silicon Valley, people are getting more money, right? Mm-hmm. So, or sort of like the new money is coming out, right? So new money is coming out. I mean, old money is always there. I mean, like people who make money out of oil, is always there. But the new money from Silicon Valley, from Hollywood, those people are start to emerge. So if you were Elon during the time, you want to get into car industries, right? So what are the difficulties to do a car industry during the time? Well, you need to understand about ICE, right? You need to understand internal combustion engine because that's hard, right? Gearbox, right? Engine, cylinders, gear change.
And the chassis.
Right? Those are really, really hard to do. What about hybrid cars? Even harder, right? You have an electric motor and plus the ICE, right? It's even harder to do, right? Okay. Why is car industry so hard during the time? Why is car industry not making money during the time?
There are now a lot of players in the game.
A lot of players, so the value chain is filled with different kind of competitions and players.
Yes.
And there's also a big, massive dealer network to deal with. Distribution is based out on dealers, right?
Yes.
Cars sold by dealers, and dealers have massive powers in terms of how many cars they want to sell.
So the barrier to entry is pretty hard.
Barrier to entry is so hard.
So hard. And
the technical know-how is so hard too.
So it's like basically a risky market. So if you're a startup, you have some money, why would you even go into that industry, right? Well, that's
so this is what we talk about what happens to Tesla. Was if you think about a good strategy, right? One of the key insights today I want to show everybody is we just list out all the external difficulties of car industries, right? Technology know-how is high, barrier to entry is high, deal with massive dealers, right? Marketing is expensive, right? What is a good strategy is you do totally opposite of what we just listed out. If you think about Tesla at the beginning of building Model X and Model S, you know what is a good strategy? It's to do what other people think is difficult and do opposite of it. If you think about Tesla, right, back in 2012 and 2013, do they have marketing? The marketing is Elon Musk himself. And what is the marketing during the time? There's no marketing. Does Tesla have dealer? No dealer. Everything was ordered what? Online. Does Tesla have gearbox? Does Tesla have ICE, internal combustion engine? None of it. Does Tesla go with hybrid model? No, I don't deal with it because it's too difficult. So what Tesla was doing is totally opposite what is hard for the rest industry in the car industry, right? So that's one of the key insights is that what is the good strategies defining us doing something that is opposite of hard? Well, sounds so obvious. Even the 3 years old can understand. But if you think about it, closely on Tesla's success during the time, Elon was doing totally opposite what is different from the car industry. And the next thing about aligning with the market, external markets, right? So what was Tesla's main, like you say, where to play, how to play, right? So let's go back to Tesla, right? So what products are they selling? Well, electric vehicle, right? Yes. EV, right? Electric vehicle, right? So who are they selling to?
The niche market people type of guy, like the people who care about the early adoption of ESG.
Wait, hold on. This is a part where people always miss. Do you think Tesla was selling to the ESG people beginning?
Nope.
If you look at Tesla's commercial during the time, do they talk about we are reducing carbon dioxide?
No, actually.
What do they strive? What do they care about during the time?
Something
We studied that in EMBA as well. Like, we talk about Tesla, right? So what do they care about? When Tesla's commercial comes out, or like on the YouTube, remember the YouTube video we saw? Do they talk about ESG?
No, it's more like something unique, something new, something for the future.
For the future, right? And they also talk about what? Speed. Performance. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. That's Tesla Model S, right? It's about the performance, about the speed, about the ability to do something that ICE car cannot do. So what is that? It is a status. So having this kind of performance, speed, and status is what Tesla want to give to the markets, in which it's not ESG. It's not economy car. So what is Tesla telling the audience or telling the potential markets? We are a performance car. We are a performance car that is faster, cooler, and more unique, right?
And that's why Leonardo, he bought it.
Yes.
Leo, he bought it, right?
That's good. That's good marketing. Like
That's
we
a good
come back later.
marketing
That's good
itself.
marketing
Okay.
because people see Leo bought it, and I want to have the car just like Leo did, right? So if you think about Tesla, it's doing this, not ESG, not economy. Whom does Tesla sell to?
People who want to have status, who want to have performance, want to have something unique.
Where do they live?
Hollywood.
And in the north part is Silicon.
Silicon Valley.
Yes. So if you think about Tesla's, let's call it like a PVA model, right? PVA model stand for products, product market domains, value proposition, and activities, PVA, right? Product market domain, what are we selling? We're selling EV. Where are we selling? We're selling in California, right? Whom do we sell to? We're selling to this performance-based, rich people, right? That's product market, right? And what's the value proposition? Why do you think people will buy our products? Because we are cool. We are fast. We're performance
And we are
based.
special.
We're special, right?
We are different.
And why can we make money? Oh, because we don't do ICE. There's no internal combustion engine. We only have big batteries and wheels, so we can sell more expensive, even though our batteries are
And
expensive,
motor.
but it's a premium pricing, right?
And motor.
So all the activities, supply chain, no, I don't care about dealerships, right? Marketing, no, I don't do marketing because Leo will drive the car. All the rich people in the Silicon Valley or in Hollywood will drive the car. The neighbors will saw it. When the neighbors saw it, they will want to get the car as well. That's it. Organic marketing. It's called word of mouth, right? 口碑行销. Sorry, I just gotta put that in Chinese, right? Right? Word of mouth, right? And what are activities else? My YouTube video. Performance, luxury, special. No dealers. Because why do you want dealers in Tesla's space? If you think about it, how do dealership makes money in the car industry? If you think about it, Winston, how does dealership in car industry make money? By selling new cars?
Buy and sell, buy at lower price, sell at higher price.
Really? That's it? What's the biggest revenue driven for the dealership? Imagine you're a Mercedes car. You have your Mercedes, right? You go to the Mercedes dealers every 6 months or 1 year. What do you spend the most when you take out your credit card?
Also the service.
It's after sales service.
Yes.
Maintenance. Do you think EV has maintenance?
Not a lot.
No maintenance, right?
Just change the battery.
So if you push your Tesla Model X or Model S to the dealers, do you think dealers want to sell it?
They don't want to.
Why?
There's no
There's no
after
maintenance.
service.
No after service. Okay, great. So I talked to you guys about the PVA to think about Tesla in terms of external and internal. I think Tesla, we'll stop really soon, right? So Tesla is a perfect example where external consistency, internal consistency goes head to head, right? Internally, I'm doing all the activities that can make externally fit into what the market wants. And I have the flexibility to adjust along the way.
Flexibility.
Right? So from Model X, Model S, now we go into Model 3, which is recently, I go into the more economic models now, which is against what Tesla was successful before. But what is Elon doing? Hey, we need money. We need cash flow. So we go into Model 3 anyways. But we will use Model X and Model S generated cash or the factories to build Optimus, right? Which is going to be something leap into the future because I believe Optimus is the next Model X or Model S. So Tesla, I think, is a perfect example of how good strategy and strategy works in different industries. Look at what we talk about today. External consistency, internal consistency, and flexibility. The triangle rules doesn't break. If one side is broken, then your strategy is not a good strategy. Right? So we go back to our beginning of the episode. What is strategy? What is good strategy? What is bad strategy? We never know, right? But now we have a clear picture in terms of how Tesla is doing. And I think out of a lot of business right now, a lot of the business in the world right now, Tesla is definitely doing some business model that is different. And it's something that people never think about. It's about the consistency and the flexibility to make this company successful.
Well, so basically you are saying that the structure is doing something that is different, right? The structure that Tesla, Elon Musk chose was to choose whatever you think is difficult and do the exact opposite. You start with that. And then whatever you choose, you try to exist like internal factor and external factor, right? And then you adjust throughout your exercise with strategy, and you put into giving you flexibility. If the market change, if your company situation change, you got to have the flexibility. That's what you are saying, right? So to simplify what you're saying, I think I have a question is that does this actually fit into every business model, right? Like at the beginning, you say, okay, if you see an industry, you see whatever is difficulty, the barrier is so high that there are a lot of difficulty that you need to do adjustment. But there's got to be a limit, right? It's not like, okay, if you see something that you just do the exact opposite, then you will call that a good strategy because there's always a limit, right? So what do you think about that? I mean,
what do you think? Like, in this way, yeah. If you have some really smart entrepreneurs with some capitals want to start new ventures, do you think you want to play with the difficulties in the current industry, or you want to do something that is totally opposite of it? Usually you will think about you want to do totally opposite of it, right?
Because you're an entrepreneur, you want to do something new.
But this is the problem with today's society is that everybody was looking at, that guy is so successful in that industries. This is what we define the key success factor in this industry. So I should do the same, right? Especially like if you think about today, it's like, in, let's say example in finance, right? I got some like internet celebrities endorse my app or podcast or app, right? So I should try to find the internet celebrity to endorse my app. Then my app will go viral. Right? 我找个网红来代言我的 APP， 那我的 APP 就红了。Isn't this like what people still doing these days, right? Or maybe like some podcast show is so hot, so like I just put my products on that podcast show, do the advertising, and my products will sell really well. 比如说股癌的节目很红，我就把我的那个商品用广告的方式卖给股癌，然后股癌就是讲一下我的商品就会红了。请问 sorry about the Mandarin translation, but
Okay.
I think it's easier to say this way. But isn't that what people are doing these days, right?
Yeah, a lot of people, they are the followers.
So the follower business model, that's what I would say. Like, aren't you just like one of those 37 car companies in the United States during the 2012? What the key problem, the key insight is that Tesla look at this and say, I will not be the 38s, 39s, or 40s of the car company during the time in the United States. I want to do something totally opposite of that. And that is the beginning of the good strategy.
Okay, so I think the overall idea is that a good strategy, like I say, there are always a lot of difficulties, and those difficulties are something that a lot of people will look at those difficulties and say, okay, fine, I'm not doing that because I rather pursue what's called the short-term game. Because if you just copy other people's strategy, it's much easier. You definitely make something, but if you put in the long term, you probably will not be successful.
Yes.
And those who are brave enough, who put all his energy, all his focus to conquer, to look at those barriers, and I won't say conquer, to go around it and think of something opposite and be successful with it. Those are the hard one. Those are the difficult challenge to start with. And you probably will not make anything at the beginning. You probably even will go close to bankrupt, and you will be beat down, thrown into the gutter, and then you try to stand up again. But then, if you survive, it will be long term.
You are right. I think this is why I was mind blowing. Like, when I was, so I mean, after the executive MBA, I did a Cornell CEO education. So, I mean, this session was mind blowing. I'm still recovering from the sessions because you never look at the business model this way.
Recover from the session. You are so mind shocked.
I'm so mind shocked.
Mind blown. Ugh.
I'm really mind shocked. If you take that example of Tesla to today's business world, right? A lot of AI companies are doing the same thing as well. Oh, I just want to be a better model. I want to be more like ChatGPT. I want to be more like Gemini. But none of these companies are looking at this field, say, hey, I want to do something that is opposite of it. But there's one company, I would say, in China called DeepSeek. They definitely did something, like Tesla did, right? So, I'm not pro-China. I just want to say, I'm just saying, like, a good strategy is never about imitating others, right? It's about how do you think in terms of long-term views, and how do you apply the triangle, structures around your business?
But today we mostly cover the internal and external. We didn't cover as much on the flexibility part. But maybe we can.
Maybe later on, if this episode actually becomes popular, we can go back to the English session.
And then we discuss the flexibility part.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right. 玻璃兄弟，
我们下次再见，拜拜。
拜拜。玻璃兄弟，亚洲制造与成长的对话，从台湾走向世界，欢迎收听玻璃兄弟 Podcast。在这里，创新与传统碰撞，勇敢的想法重新定义制造业的未来。我是主持人 Richard and Winston， 带你深入亚洲最有韧性的产业现场，听见改变游戏规则的领袖故事。这些内容只有在这里听得到。